Hey, good people. It's me, Bethany. Hi. And I'm still trying to get used to this whole thing, and I was like, I test and stuff, but whatever. Anyway, so I wanted to come on and talk today about some of the stuff that I saw on Facebook that really had me like disgusted. I'm not even gonna lie. It had me very disgusted. Basically, it was a video of some students in a college and not college, Chicago high school that were basically being really rude and disrespectful and very verbally and abusive to their teacher. And I just want to say this. Now, when I was growing up, if I ever thought about doing that, my ASS would be handed to me on a silver platter by my parents. And not only my parents, but my principal. Because I grew up in an era where it was okay to go to the principal's office and get pat a couple of times. If not by your principal, but by your parents. And I honestly believe that kids are acting like this today because the government thinks it's wrong to discipline your children. Okay, so let me just back it up for a second. All right, let's go Bible right now. If you spoil the rod, if you spare the rod, you will spoil the child. That's in the Bible. Bible people. And let's keep going back in my decade, back in when I was growing up in the 80s. Shout out to the 80s babies. But my parents, my grandparents, everybody's saying, oh, we have a lost generation. Well, do you want to know why we have a lost generation? Because people are not standing up for themselves, saying, you know what, take my kid. Go ahead. Because if I can't discipline them and you want to discipline them the way that you want to discipline them, they're going to end up dead or in jail. Basically. And I am sick and tired of all these people saying, well, it's the parents' fault that the children act this way. No, it's not the parents' fault all the way. It's government. Plain and simple. Let us discipline our children in the way that we see fit. And of course, if it does come to like abuse, then yeah, y'all need to step in. But for us spanking our children because they're acting up like that in school, you should not be trying to take away our children. You should not. I'm sorry. I got spanked, beat, whatever you want to call it. And I am not in jail. I am not on drugs. I don't have any kids. I'm actually pursuing a second master's. Second master's, which means I already have one. My brother got whooped, and he is a very, very successful lawyer. My cousins got whooped. He's a professional football player. My god sisters got whooped, and all three of them have very, very successful careers and very loving husbands and very well-behaved children. You want to know why? Because they get spanked too. I'm just so sick of this. And I don't care what anybody says about me or about my family or about whatever, but I will say this. We came from very strong backgrounds, and we do not appreciate people feeling like it's okay. It's not. It's not okay for people to allow their children to act a certain way. It's not okay. Sorry. It's not. Whenever I see my god kids and they act like they want to turn up in the store, Auntie Beth don't play. We don't know. She don't. I don't spank them in public because I don't believe that should be done. However, I do believe when they get home, if they're not going to the positivity corner, which I love and they hate because I make them think, oh, they getting that wooden spoon. Sorry. I'm not going to sit there and, no, that's not what it calls for. That's not what it is. And if people really understood, it truly hurts the parents more to spank their children than anything else in the world, because as parents, they never want to see their children hurting or crying because of them. They just don't. People's parents don't just whip them because they think it's cool. No. They do it out of love so that they don't end up like the next person who thinks it's cool to cuss out their parents, who thinks it's cool to go to school with guns, who thinks it's cool to be all these things, but an individual who is supposed to be working to being a better person for society, better yet, going back to Bible, Christ-like. I'm so sick and tired of women. Women saying that men who dress up every day are gay. They're not gay. They're men. Boys who decide to sag every day are little boys, and they will never grow up to be anything because they don't know how to put on a belt and put their pants above their butt. That is not cute. I'm sorry, that is not cute. The sexiest thing a man can do is put on a suit every day. You want to know why? Because that shows what kind of man he is. That shows what kind of gentleman requirements that he only thinks that is allowed in his presence. None of this calling no girl, no B or hoes or nothing like that. They prefer to treat women as we present ourselves. So ladies, this is a call for you too. If you want to be treated like a queen, you need to act like one. Plain and simple. But if you don't want to be treated like a queen, they won't treat you like a queen. No. And ladies, we don't have to show everything. Leave something to the imagination, please. Please. You don't have to be showing your ass all the time. You don't have to be showing your boobs all the time. You just don't. You don't. The sexiest thing to a man is to get stimulated mentally. So he doesn't have to see all this. We all know you got all this, ain't it? You can still be classy about it. My god sister has a very Coke bottle shape. But do you see her butt cheeks all the time? No, she's dressed very classy. So it can be done, no matter what your shape is. People, I don't know if you know this, but the times are changing. And it's up to us to either decide if we're going to be on the right side or the wrong side. And the side that I choose to be on is God's side. Because I don't want people to think of me as just some other black girl who feels like was grown up in a different way, in a different world, and she's privileged. No, I work for everything that I own. Everything. Nothing was ever handed to me. And if it was handed to me, I was humble when I took it. None of this spoiled little rich kid stuff. No, nobody got time for that. No. It's all about making yourself better. And if you have nothing better to do than to talk about people on Facebook or to hate or whatever on how a person sounds or how a person chooses to use their dialect, basically, oh, you talk white. No, I talk like I have some sense. Sorry. I don't talk like, oh, I think I'm better than you. No, my mother just so happens to believe that pronouns and verbs and adjectives and regular nouns and adverbs and conjunctions are very important. Oh, and pronunciating every syllable of a word is important if you want to make it in this world. And she's right. Nobody is going to hire you if you can't say hello. Or if you can't say, yes, please, I would like to know more information about this position. I'm not saying that because you grew up less fortunate that you should not, I don't know, forget about that, because you shouldn't. But you should better yourself so that you can be somebody to better somebody else, and so forth and so forth. You shouldn't bring somebody else down because you were brought down once. That's not how we're going to survive on this world. If everybody just keeps this circle of bringing people down, then when is it ever going to end? When are you ever going to go up? You're never going to go up if you keep going in a circle. There's two ways in life that you're going to get through. One way is decide to go against the grain and be yourself so that you can go up. And the other way is to continue on this vicious cycle that you, your family, your friends, whatever started. It's up to you to finish it. It's up to you to end it. Why would you want to stay in that vicious cycle? Why not just end it now? So, after my rant, you're wondering why I feel this way about family and all that great jazz. So, I am right now doing a project. It's a genealogy project for my class, and basically a genealogy is like a family tree, except that it has different variables with it that allows you to put down like abuse that was happening in the family, a lot of family secrets that I know my family's the only one I got, but it allows you to, yeah, I know, don't, yeah, I know, I gotta start coming corrected you guys with some makeup and stuff, but whatever. But it allows you to truly find an understanding about why you are the way you are, and why, and how your family is set up, and how basically, like, I can honestly say for me, my grandmother is the root of our family. Like, if something happens to her, everybody's in chaos. And I can honestly say that she is either passing that down to my mom or to me, because now it seems like everybody comes to us with their problems like they did with my grandmother. And instead of us going, well, we're not my grandmother, so it's not our problem, we actually, pray for them. Me, I'm really trying to become a better prayer warrior. I can honestly say that. And I can honestly say that I am working on really trying to get a deeper touch with God. I really am. Because I feel like it is very important for you to have a very rooted background in the gospel. I really do. Because a lot of people don't understand what the power of prayer can do. They really don't. Because the power of prayer is so powerful. It's so powerful. It's so powerful that it can make a blind man see. It can make karma, which some people need, but I'm not going to go there today. But it can make karma come at a significant rate. With something you thought would take years for somebody to understand how they did you wrong, took a couple of minutes. And I can honestly say for me, and I'm going to quit after this last little take, I can honestly say for me that, how do I say this? Well, basically, I remember that God never puts more on you than he can bear. And I know that he also will give you the tools to make your enemies your footstools. So for me, going through what I'm going through right now, which isn't really bad, it's just, the whole full-time student, no time working, money is dwindling by the day, you know, and all these responsibilities that I have, because when I did have a career and I was working and I was making all this money, I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy. And God never wants you to not be happy with your life or not be happy in your life. So whenever my company decided to lay me off, it was during a time when I was going through discipleship training. And I remember it like it was yesterday, but it was like a year ago, a little over a year ago now. We had this class about faith. And I will tell this story to everybody because I know that it is important. But we had this conversation about faith, and we had it about, like, you know, your faith in God depends on not your happiness in life, but basically how much you're willing to take and how far you're willing to go to keep that faith. And the minister who's actually in charge of our class, she told us about her story about faith and how she was in basically the same predicament that I am right now, where she was about to lose her home, about to lose her she lost her job, she had an eviction notice, she basically was at the end of the ends of the ends. And she went to a conference and somebody just gave her $100, said, here. Now that $100 could have helped her out a lot, but God said, give it back. And she's like, really, God? And he's like, yeah, give it back. So she gave it back to God. She put it on the altar. And the pastor for that day of the conference basically blessed her so abundantly that she didn't lose anything because she had faith. And she again talked about how, you know, her faith led her to finding a job and to actually going through a serious health condition that she was going through. And if it wasn't for faith and it wasn't for prayer, that she never would have made it through anything. And she probably would have just been another statistic of, you know, the world. And at the end, I'm going to try and make this short, you guys. And at the end of the class, she asked anybody if they had something to pray for. Now, me, I know I seem very much like an extrovert, but I'm kind of an introvert. But, and I hate confrontation. But I'm working on that. God's working on me, so pray for me, guys. But honestly, she said, you know, does anybody have a prayer request? And I rose my hand and I said, you know, I'm supposed to be going on this business trip in a couple of weeks, and I just pray that nothing bad happens and I get back on time. And she's like, are you a warrior? She didn't even care about what the business trip was or nothing like that. She just asked, did I worry? Was I a warrior? Basically, did worrying about things take over my life? Yeah, they did. A worry wart, as a lot of people like to call them. Was I one? And I was, yes. And she said, why? And I said, I don't know. I guess it's like a generational curse because my mom worries, my grandmother worries, and all these other stuff. You gotta excuse the accent, that's why. Sorry. But basically, she prayed that away. And I felt like, you know what, she's right. Why would I go through my life worrying about stuff that I can't even control? Why would I allow something so little take over my life and I can't even control it? So, went home feeling good, feeling great, feeling grand. That was on a Thursday night. So Friday, get up, go to work. I'm at work maybe like 2-3 hours, and I get called into the HR office. You know, we really hate to do this to you, but we're going to have to lay you off. The money's just not looking right. Was I upset? Nah. I felt like I took that with a lot of dignity. And I felt like I held my head up, and whenever I left, you know, I finished packing up my stuff, and they had my stuff from the other office already there, so they knew that last one in, first one out. But was I upset? No, I wasn't upset. I actually left the office thanking God and praying that, whatever you have for me, I'm going to revel in, and I'm just going to be thankful for that. And that was last October. So, since then, have I worked? A little bit. But I did go back to school, which I'm very proud of myself for. And I'm currently in school right now. Go Deeks, Wake Forest, whoop whoop. And, this experience has given me a lot of time to think about stuff that I didn't think about before. And enjoy my time with God, and enjoy my time with me, and enjoy my time with my family. Yeah. I'm working now? No. I'm not. But that's okay. Because maybe it's not meant for me to work right now, Maybe it's meant for me to focus on my studies and to focus on my life and focus on the word and focus on the study of becoming a better prayer warrior and become a better person, basically. I mean, I'm a pretty good person now, but, I feel like God has something for me that is so great, so grand, that I don't even know what's going to happen in the near future. And I don't even know, basically, how I'm going to respond to. I'm going to be joyous, of course, but I just hope that, I think that this is the time that he's trying to get me prepared for something greater. And I don't need the interference of a job trying to take over what he and I have. And he always provides for me, and he's going to continue to provide for me, because he does. That's what he does. He's God. He provides. He's a provider. El Shaddai, El Shaddid, all of that. And I just say all that to say, no matter what you're going through today, God's got it. And if you're not a believer of Christ, then whoever you believe in, Allah, the Hindu gods, the Egyptian gods, whoever you believe in, if your faith is powerful, and if your faith is so indestructible that it doesn't matter what anybody says, you know that you will not sway, then you got this. I believe in God. I believe that Jesus died. I believe that he rose on the third day. I believe that he went down to hell to get the keys of life. And I believe that confessing him as my Lord and Savior is the way to go. That's just what I believe. Now, I don't believe, what a lot of people say, because that's hearsay, and you need to know the Bible for yourself. So if you're not reading the Bible for yourself, then you'll believe anything and everything, which is crazy, basically, because people will tell you Jesus told you to hop back 3 times, and then you'll have a car in your driveway the next day. And you can hop back 3 times every day, but you'll never get that car. Because that's not how it works. That's just not how it works. That's not what being a Christian or being saved or anything that means. Prayer works. Prayer is one of the only things that work. Prayer and faith. Those are the two. Prayer and faith. Because the mercy and the grace that God gives us, man, any sin, every sin, killing, 7 deadly sins, all of them. Grace and mercy, man. Live your life. Live it. Live it to the fullest. Live it to the best that you can live it to. And don't let people tell you that you can't do something, because you can. Well, that's my time. I got homework. So, I just wanted to tell you, as my first lady says, make your day great. And I need to sign off. So, bless. Just be blessed and be a blessing to others. Because if you're not a blessing to others and if you're not blessed, then why are we on this earth? Bye, guys.